Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Am I extra chipper this morning? Yes, I am, because today is Friday, March 14th, and if you've been following along, you know it is the last day before spring break. I love my students, I love my job, I love my school. I just could use a break, you know, I'm a little tired. So today I have some little nifty gifties that I prepped for my team teachers and some of my coworkers. I will show you those. I have some fun activities that I've been doing all week with my students, and then some special things going on today leading into spring break. I have some little treats to give my students when they come back. I'm prepping my classroom to make sure I don't need to do anything over break. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's start with the nifty gifties for some of my team teachers and coworkers. Typically, I like to give a little gift before breaks, and I will usually bake something. But I knew I was gonna be super tired on Thursday night, and my prediction was correct. Therefore, I didn't want to bake anything. I wanted to prep something that I could do in advance. So I created two little things to give to each of them. First, this is a sugar scrub, and I made it look like a little carrot. At least that's what it's supposed to look like, just pretend. I just got these cone-shaped baggies. I prepped the sugar scrub using sugar, coconut oil, some orange essential oils, and then some food coloring to make it orange. I didn't follow a recipe. I literally just kept adding oil and sugar into the bowl until I had enough. And then I added the oil until it had the right smell, and I added the food coloring until it had the right color. So there is no recipe to follow, but it's super easy to throw together a sugar scrub. And I love that this was something I could prep in advance. I just printed out a little tag and attached it using some green ribbon to look like the top of the carrot. And I always like to put a tag with ingredients for things like these, just in case anyone has allergies. The second thing I prepped was inspired by these little rabbit baggies that I found at Dollar Tree. They have like the ears at the top. I thought they were super cute. And inside I just put some little Dove chocolate. So nothing super fancy, but we could all use some chocolate to help us get through the day. And then I made these little tags that say, I hop, which is meant to be hope, you know, but bunnies, your spring break is extra sweet because they're like little eggs on the inside. So I am gonna deliver these, and then let's chat about the week. So one of the many things that I love about my school is that they will incorporate just little fun incentives and activities that make it more exciting, make it more engaging, and at least for me, because it's all new and novel, it's like I never know what to expect, and I love the anticipation and the novelty of some of the fun things that they do. With it being March Madness is really popular, and so the week leading into spring break, my school does some kind of a tournament bracket. So last week on Friday, we each had the option to fill out our tournament bracket choosing chip flavors. So there are different pairings, and we had to choose the chips that we thought the staff would end up choosing, because this week, every day, there have been chips in the lounge for us to sample. So you would sample one of each chip, for example, Crunchy Cheetos and Puffy Cheetos. You would vote for your winner, and then each day they've been announcing like the points. Now, I got knocked out in the first day because I only got 3 out of 4 right, and ever since then, it's just been downhill. But it's been something really fun just to look forward to. And then each night when I go home, I'm like telling Billy, and I'm like, all right, what do you think won between the salt and vinegar and the Cheetos? And it's just been something to kind of keep me engaged throughout the week. I've loved it. And I love chips. So, I mean, that's not a hard thing to make me happy when there's food involved. So that's been one thing happening this week that I've really enjoyed. And then if you saw one of my last vlogs, I had mentioned some different kind of spring activities that I was incorporating to make this week more fun and engaging. One of them, also related to March Madness, was Trasketball. Last week, we played Trasketball to review for our math test, like we usually do with the big trash can. But this week, I actually had them use the little mini ones. These are technically Easter baskets that I got from Dollar Tree. But I put my students into groups, and it was kind of funny because I was like, all right, pick your groups. And they, get with their buddies and they sit down. I'm like, all right, you're competing against each other. So they didn't see that coming. And it was just a fun way to take Trasketball, something they already know, and put a simple twist on it. So each group got their own basket and one ball. I let them decide where to place it and where they would shoot from. So they kind of got to develop their own rules. And then I displayed the questions, and I didn't even prep a basketball game. I literally just pulled up the review questions in the textbook, and everyone would answer on their whiteboard, and then they individually kept track of their points. If they got it right, they got to shoot a basket. Same rules applied, but it was just a simple little twist, and it kept things new and interesting. Now, another school event that was happening this week was our Shamrock Shuffle. This is something that our students do in wellness, which is essentially PE or gym, and they have been preparing to run, it's a mile, but it's technically a little shorter than a mile. And this is on the Wednesday leading into spring break. So, in true Michelle fashion, I thought back to my days when I was a marathon runner, because if you're new here, I ran marathons at one point in my life. I've done 5 of them. I now consider myself a retired runner, but I always loved reading the signs that people would have when they were out cheering us on for the marathon. And so I thought, okay, if my students are gonna be running this race around the school, I want to have a sign to be able to cheer them on. So I went home Tuesday night and prepared this sign. I just got the gold poster board from the dollar store. I got this Shamrock from Michael's, and then I cut out the letters using my Cricut, ran it through the laminator. That way I can reuse this year after year, but it just says, "You Shamrock, tap here for power." And so I met my students at the start line, and they were able to tap it as they went by for, power, which they told me worked. So I don't know, I'm not gonna argue with them. And then I went around the back side, kind of when they were about halfway, when they start dragging a little bit because they went out too fast, and they were able to tap it for power. And my students were so complimentary. They're like, "Oh, Mrs. Emerson, the sign really worked. Thank you so much." And it was fun and sweet to see them in that environment, to see the smiles on their faces. They all tried so hard, had great effort with it. It was beautiful weather, which obviously worked out. So that was a lot of fun as well. Then I had also mentioned in a previous vlog that I was planning to do some digital activities with my students. And I love these because they're simple and they're easy to prep. Literally Wednesday after school, I said, all right, I want to do a digital mystery puzzle. It's a Google form where students have to answer questions to reveal puzzle pieces. And underneath of the puzzle pieces is like an animated image. I also wanted to do a digital escape room. And thankfully, these are things that I developed templates for a while ago, and I was able to just pull up the template, and within 15 minutes, I had both of them ready to go. I did the digital mystery puzzle yesterday, so let me show you that. So this is what the digital mystery puzzle looks like. It's March themed, so all of the images are related to the month of March, and this is the 25 question option. You're able to choose between 9, 16, or 25 questions. I will link the templates for you down below if you're interested. But all I did was take the questions from their problem set and put them into the template. So instead of doing it on paper and pencil, they type their answers here. And what's great is it's self-checking, because if they type the wrong answer, like 3, it's not gonna let them move on. But once they type in the correct answer, then they can click next, and it will take them to the next page. And as you can see, one of the puzzle pieces has filled in. So then same thing here, if I type in the answer, you'll notice this one had 2 blanks, yards and feet. So I gave them directions to type their answer with a comma. So this one would be 7 yards, comma, space, 2 feet. Click next, and then you'll see we now have 2 pieces of the puzzle.
Mystery solved.
That we did yesterday, and it was fantastic. Today, they are gonna do the digital escape room, which is escape the leprechaun's trap. And so the storyline is you're standing by the front doors of the school and notice a patch of clovers in the grass. While you wait for the school bell to ring, you start looking through the clovers and suddenly spot a 4-leaf clover. You get excited and figure it must be your lucky day. As soon as you pluck the 4-leaf clover from the grass, you are transported into a strange land. You look around and realize you're stuck inside a leprechaun trap. You're going to have to use your best skills to escape the leprechaun's trap and get back before school starts. So when they come down, they've got the animated images and they're able to choose their first move. And if they choose, I can kick the door open, and they go to the next page, it's gonna be like, yeah, you tried that, it didn't work. So then they have to start with the green barrel. And this takes them through the storyline. So they see the green barrel, they notice a small clover on one of the buttons, they press it, and then when they press it, a message appears on the screen. Take a closer look at the message, and this will bring them to the first task. And again, I just took their workbook problems and inserted in as the tasks. So this first one, I changed the names to Mrs. Emerson and Mr. William, but this is one of the problems that they had to do in the backpack. And just like with the digital mystery puzzle, they have to have the correct answer in order to move on to the next task. There are a total of 5 tasks, but sometimes I kind of combine questions, so they'll have to answer multiple questions as one task. So that's what we're doing today during math, just to keep it, again, kind of fresh, interesting, something new and different. And then another little thing, just to keep it new, is our Peep. You may remember I showed this in a prior vlog that I got this Peep at the store. And so all week we've been playing Pass the Peep, where when I need volunteers to answer questions, we throw the Peep and instantly everyone's engaged because they want to catch the Peep. Well, I then went to Michael's and I found this one. It's a bunny, and I said, Michelle, you don't need it. But then I walked by and I saw that it said marshmallow scented, and I smelled it and it smells so good. I got this one too. So we've been using the bunny the past like 2 days, and my students all love it because then when they catch it, they get to smell it. But again, just a little way to kind of keep them engaged and make them still want to participate when, again, we're all kind of dragging a bit. So I've also been doing the golden egg all week. I shared about this in prior vlogs, but in case you missed it, this egg is filled with some treats. So inside, the students get a chocolate bunny. It's a cookies and cream Hershey's bunny. They get a Peep lollipop. They get a little carrot highlighter that's absolutely adorable. They get a little carrot eraser. They get their own gold egg that they get to keep, and inside are some of the robin's eggs, like the malted milk balls. And the big egg gets passed from student to student. So there have been 5 winners in the morning class, 5 winners in the afternoon class. That's it. I just do it the week leading into spring break. They also get a certificate that they get to take home that looks like this. That way they can tell their parents that they were the golden egg winner. And it has been a hit. Every day before my students leave, they're like, so who's gonna be the golden egg tomorrow? And I'm like, I don't know, you'll have to come find out. And they've all been so excited for each other, like applauding for the student who gets it. And it's been really, really heartwarming to see. Something funny that happened is one of my students goes, wait, it should be the golden Eggerson. And I said, you know what? I thought about that, but I wondered if you all would think it was a little lame, so I just went with golden egg. And they're like, no, 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 we love it, golden Eggerson. So we now have been calling it the golden Eggerson. But today is the last day of that, so I've already filled it for the student this morning. I just need to put it on their desk. I have the certificate ready to go for the afternoon class. I will just have to refill it halfway through the day when my students go to lunch. Another thing we are doing today, because it is Friday the 14th and Monday is St. Patrick's Day, we did a mystery science mini lesson yesterday on what's at the end of the rainbow, and we talked about how rainbows move because it is the sunlight reflecting on the raindrops that are further ahead from you. So when you move forward, the rainbow moves forward. It was a great discussion. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I need to do the rainbow milk experiment with them. Fun fact, back when I taught 2nd grade, the very first product I ever posted on TPT was a freebie, and it was a recording sheet for a rainbow milk experiment, and it was in March. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will show you later on in the vlog. Well, actually, I'll insert some B-roll and show you now. Essentially, all you need is some kind of like a plate, some kind of a more flat surface to put milk into. Now, I went with little styrofoam bowls only because when they're carrying them, I don't trust milk on a plate. So we're using bowls, but ideally you're gonna put just a little bit of milk in, which I chuckled to myself this morning as I grabbed my lunchbox because I was able to fit a whole half gallon of milk in my lunchbox. Now I'm using whole milk. The more fat content in the milk, the better off it is. But you could also test this with your students and use different milk. So you could use whole milk and then 2% and then 1%.
Does anyone here have fermented mare's milk?
Just an option, but you also need some dish soap and cotton swabs, and then food coloring. So you put a little bit of milk inside of the bowl or plate, then students will add just a couple drops of food coloring. I like to do it right in the middle of the bowl of milk. They will dip their cotton swab into the dish soap, and then they will touch the end of the cotton swab with the dish soap into the middle of the food coloring. And I just tell them to observe and see what happens. They're gonna make predictions first, but it is so cool because if they've never seen this before, I don't think they're expecting it to happen. And it leads to great discussions. Now, when I taught 2nd grade, the discussion part, I think, went over their head just a little bit, and that's okay. But I feel like now in 4th grade, we're gonna be able to have some great discussions about why does this happen? What's the science behind it? I'm gonna insert some screenshots of the slides that I'm going to have up. So I put just very basic directions. Once we do the investigation, then I have a few slides where we're gonna talk about the science behind it. And I took this from a website where someone had the explanation in very kid-friendly terms, and I just changed it up a little bit. I also highlighted the text and added in little emojis just to make it easier for my students to understand. But that's gonna be it for science today. Otherwise, we're just having some flex time, and we took our science test yesterday. So when we come back from break, we're gonna be starting a new chapter. But we'll come back to that later on. I need to go ahead and just kind of get myself ready for the day. One of the things I want to get done before I leave today is prepping these pencils to give my students when they return from break. I found these at Dollar Tree. They were packs of 16 for $1.25, and I like that they're just very general spring. They're not necessarily Easter, they're just spring pencils. And I created these tags on Canva, very similar to the ones I gave them when they came back from winter break. So if you're interested in this tag, I will link the editable Canva template for you. It just says, I can't wait to hop back into learning. Love, Mrs. Emerson. Obviously you can edit your name. I hope you had a great spring break. I missed you. And then after I cut them out, I just cut a little slit in each one on this line. So I would kind of take the paper, kind of fold it in half, and then use my scissors just to cut a little tiny slit where that line is, and that way I can slide the pencil through. I'm gonna try to get those prepped, that way they're done and ready to go. And just like that, the day is done. As you can probably tell from the smile on my face, it was a great day. As a teacher, you anticipate the last day before break being a little hectic, you know? You got students who are absent because they're traveling, you have students leaving early, you have behavior can sometimes be questionable because we're all anticipating break, but my students were fantastic today. Behavior was good, they were super engaged. The digital escape room for math was a hit. I loved it because it was so easy to put together, but my students loved the storyline, and I loved seeing them persevere through hard tasks. One of the tasks was difficult. It was a multiple step problem, a lot going on in it, and seeing them get it wrong, come ask for a little bit of help, go back, try it again, get it wrong again, get a little more help, and they just would keep going until they figured it out was awesome. I mean, as a teacher, that's ultimately what you want, is for them to be able to work through hard tasks and be able to get just a little bit of support and then go try it on their own. So that was great to see. If you're interested in the digital escape room template for Escape the Leprechaun Trap, I will link that for you down in the description box. For science, the rainbow milk experiment was a huge success and hit. My students loved it. I loved getting to do it with them and experience it and then explain it. And I gave them some ideas of things they can try over break, as I had mentioned. So I'll get to see if any of them actually further their investigation, because a lot of them were already asking me questions. They're like, what about this? What about this? I'm like, go home and try it. So no messes, which is always a success because food coloring makes me a little nervous. I ended up passing out the materials on these plastic trays that I had from the Dollar Tree. And it was the perfect setup because I put their dish soap on a little plastic lid and that fit in the little circle spot. There was a compartment to put the food coloring, a spot to put the cotton swab and the bowl. And at the end of the day, I even had a student who offered to clean it all up. So they threw away the little plastic lids with the extra dish soap. They put the food coloring back in the boxes. And as a result, oh, here was my other little thing that I did. I had 2 of those extra gold eggs filled with the molten milk balls from the golden egg. And I decided to hide them in the room so that during dismissal, as they were cleaning, they would find it. And that was also a big hit. So I came into my room at the end of the day, everything was perfectly cleaned up. I didn't have a mess across my back table. You know, some days it's a little crazy and I need to come in and clean up, but I came in my room and I'm like, I'm good to go. I can head home because my list of all the things I wanted to get done before break is all checked off and it feels amazing. I got the pencils prepped to give to students on the first day back. I have our science investigation for that Monday ready to go. I got our science word wall ready to go for the next chapter, and so I don't need to stay late, and that's a really good feeling. Plus, just in general, the day was fantastic. Our incredible PTA provided pizza because it is Pie Day, 3.14, March 14th. They provided pizza pie, and so that was really yummy. And a genius hack that I learned from them, they had the pizza boxes set up on like warming plates, like griddle kind of plates to keep it warm, but they also got electric blankets and had those on top of the boxes to keep it warm. And I'm like, genius, I never would have thought to do that. The chip winner ended up being the kettle cooked salt vinegar chips, which I never would have guessed. I love salt vinegar chips, but I thought they were a very divisive chip. You know, I didn't think a lot of people would go for salt and vinegar, but they were the overall winner. So that was just fun to, you know, see who the winner ended up being. And what else? I felt like I had something else on my list. No, I didn't. That was it. Recess, it was 90 degrees outside, so it was nice to just get some sun. And as a result, I'm gonna head out of here so that I can officially toggle off work mode and toggle on spring break mode. I'm not gonna vlog for the next week, so there will be a little gap in my videos, but I know you all understand. I'm not doing anything super special over break. I'm just staying home. Billy will be working like normal. I'm gonna catch up on some sleep, and I've actually planned out a week of date nights for Billy and I because I feel like I've been so busy. I wanna make sure I prioritize our relationship, and this is an opportunity to do that. So I have some different themed date nights that we're gonna do from Saturday until next Friday. I will fill you in on that when I get back, but I'm ready to start spring break. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Share it out with your teacher friends. Truly, that is one of the best ways to support me and my channel. Just tell other people to come join in on the fun. Grab the freebies and things that I link. The tags that I shared this morning, I'll have those linked in the description box, as well as the templates for the digital escape room and the digital mystery puzzle. And I will see y'all in a week for me, but for you, it will probably be less than a week. And if you are also having spring break at this time, I hope it's wonderful. If your spring break isn't until April and you don't get a week, I understand, because that was always me too. We would not get a week, we would get like the Friday and Monday around Easter, and that was it. So I understand, I feel you. Thank you for watching, I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I'll catch you in the next one.